Welcome to a world of PIBIL, a culinary treasure deeply rooted in the traditions of Yucatan Peninsula. Derived from the Mayan word pib, meaning to bury, PIBIL is more than just a dish. It is a method of cooking steeped in history. Prepared with marinated meats like pork or chicken, wrapped in banana leaves, and slow cooked in an underground oven. PIBIL embodies the flavors and rituals of ancient Mayan culture. Today, it's a centerpiece of celebration, from the Day of the Dead offerings to family feasts. Let's explore the history, preparation, and cultural significance of this iconic Yucatecan dish.
So the history of Cochintina PIBIL. So the Cochinita PIBIL is a traditional Mexican or Mayan dish that was originated in the Yucatan, and it's part of the fusion of Mayan and the Spanish cultures. It can go way out back to the Mayan origins, where the people prepared dish centuries before Spanish brought the pigs. They used like meat such as wild boar or deer, and they cook it for like celebrations, and which is like Hanal Hixkan, when the souls of deceased visit their relatives. And then when the Spanish arrived, probably roughly around the 16th century, they brought the pigs with them, and this applied the Mayan to apply this into their traditional dishes to form it a new one and creating the dish as we know today. And the word PIBIL comes way from the Mayan culture, which means buried, referring to cooking methods using dish to prepare it.
So, how is cochinita pibil made? So, first of all, there are two types of cochinita pibil, which are the white pibil and the pibil which has the recado. Both of them use the same method of cooking. Both of them are underground. So, for the first step is to dig a pit about 2 feet deep. Then add the firewood, light it up, and when it's all about to burn out, you add the rocks on top. When the wood is all burned out, the rock will be very hot. So when that's all done, you start to add your cauldrons with the pib seco or the pibil with the recado. So after that, you add the plantain leaves on top. When it's all done, you start adding the dirt and covering all the leaks. Make sure there is no smoke coming out of that dirt. So when it's all done, you leave it there for about 3 hours.
As to Cochinita Pibil, I will have to relate as I saw it done by my father when I was a child, and but more so when I saw it being done, especially in San Narciso during the 80s. And so the idea of doing pibil is to have it cooked. We cut it on the ground, but quite frankly, it's just on the surface of the ground. Maybe a 3 feet by 2 feet by 1.5 pit would be enough. Much firewood to cover on top of the pit, and on top of the firewood you would try to put as much stones that after the wood is burned, the stone can be spread in the bottom of the pit. Of course, it's the stones that will cook, so it's very important that you have enough firewood that will cause the stones to be very hot by the time the firewood is consumed. That means that when the fire is out, then you try to spread the stones to the bottom of the pit. Nowadays we use a barbecue rack to place the meat on top, and so we just lower it onto the hot stones to the bottom, and then it's quickly covered with the plantain leaves, and to secure that the heat doesn't come out, then that is covered with straw, the same straw that is used for to detach houses, no? For the roof. We cover it with that, and then we quickly cover with the soil, ensuring that no heat comes out. So wherever you see vapor coming out, you try to cover that. And of course that will sit there for 3 hours. Now as to the preparation of the meat, I am talking about the cochinita that has no recado. This is what we call the white cochinita. All you use, it should only be ground pepper and the black pepper, no, and salt. But nowadays we add complete seasoning. So complete seasoning and salt all over the meat, and that is the meat that will be placed on the rack, which will then be lowered onto the ground. Now, as to the other one that is done with Ricardo, well, I have never done it. I don't like it. I prefer the white one. Of course, after it is finished, it is accompanied with ground pepper. That is the traditional. You eat it with ground pepper. However, nowadays the meat itself is just used to prepare tacos. So you will want to have your diced tomatoes or diced onions, or even avocado, no, to add on to your taco made out of the PIBIL meat. But traditionally it was just eaten with tortillas and ground pepper. Well, that's a quick run about it. I understand that the hole itself is called the pib, and that's why the meat cooked under the pib will be pibil. How do we ensure that the meat gets a flavor, of course, from the plantain leaves? Well, by covering it with the guano, the straw, you ensure that all the vapor will stay and cook the meat slowly, and so that by the time you take it out, you can just pull out the bones from the meat, and you stay with pure meat to consume. That would be it.
So when it comes to the occasions on when the cochinita pibil is typically eaten, it is a delicacy and tend to be saved for festive events or any sort of celebration. These can be like the Day of the Dead, for any religious and cultural festivities, for traditional Sunday meals. This can be when families gather together and they can do the pibil as a family and eat it together. And for community feasts, and as well for weddings or sometimes birthdays, and mostly in quince años, which is another Mexican tradition.
So basically the head was action because it was important for their culture, and traditionally the head was cut and the rest of the pig body was cooked, and also often wrapped in banana leaves as part of the PIBIL method to cook. And it was a symbol of abundance, as I believe, of their culture, and is often placed in center of like festival or meals or for communal sharings or for special gathering. And it also reflects the Mayan practice of honoring the entire animal and using every part for minimizing the waste. And the pig head also carry a symbolic within their modern context, where it might use for their like art or performance, for their culture and food and social values of the Mayan culture. So in conclusion, the cochinita PIBIL is a flavored and iconic dish from both the Mayan culture and the Yucatan culture in Mexico. And it is slow cooked with the pork so that it can have a favorable taste. And also it's wrapped in banana leaves that has incredible tender and full of deep tangy flavors. And it's served with purple onions, the salsa, the pork, and also with lime as well. And it's also a dish that used in traditions in Mexico, such as like festivals or even like as a everyday meal for the Mexicans and the Mayans.